The Supreme Court had, what, 2.5 years to investigate this matter, call upon evidence?
Not 2.5, less than about a year.
Well, since the start of the revolution.
About a year and a half.
Okay, year and a half. Let's call it a year and a half. And JLT has been given how long? 3 months?
60 days.
60 days. 2 months. So, year and a half, Supreme Court could not force the ruling party to dig out evidence which ought to determine the case. And JIT is expected to do that within 60 days. You don't see an anomaly over there?
It's not as complicated as it sounds. You know. It's a very simple transaction which needs to be clarified. Did Nawaz buy or his family buy the flats in London in 92, 93 or not? Okay. And that's exactly the question she needs to be answered. And so it's not that complicated. 60 days is, I think, it's okay.
Let's just hope the nation seeks what they seek, they get in terms of the truth, in relation to all these financial dealings. Now, the Nawaz Sharif party, PMLN, still claims to be the most popular party amongst the populace, amongst the people in all provinces. Where does that stand?
I don't think there's any truth in that because they have not been able to really build up or develop mass support for any of their causes. And you will notice that in this critical time when JIT is about to complete its inquiry, they're not getting any support from the people, only from a handful of flunkies. Otherwise, the people of Pakistan are not supporting him. No, the lawyers are not supporting him, the business community is not supporting him. He has no support left anywhere. And so I don't think they can claim to be a big party. And in any case, the results of 2013 were totally rigged. We believe they got virtually about more or less half the votes than they said they did. So I don't buy that claim at all.
I'm sorry, you did make a statement about the vote rigging and the general helping the PMLN as well, but then you later retracted that. You still believe?
I prefer to stay off the record on that because I was asked to. Otherwise, I think there's enough evidence to show that a lot of people were involved in rigging those elections. A lot of people, very senior people.
Bearing in mind, it is PTI who have brought to the forefront what lay hidden for a number of years. Do you think PTI can cash in where PMLN stands to lose in terms of voter support?
Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind that the way we have exposed PMLN, and we will continue to expose them further. One aspect which has remained hidden so far is the dismal state of the economy in Pakistan. Not many people know, but Nawaz government has borrowed for the last 4 years over 6 billion rupees every day in loans and debt. They piled up so much debt that the future generations will have a tough time trying to repay it. And they have violated Pakistan's law in building up this kind of debt. You know.
So is there no accountability check on this?
So the ruling party, because of the fact that it has a majority in the assembly, has avoided answering these questions which have been raised about its conduct, about its policy. So that's the real issue, but inshallah, I'm sure quite positive that they will answer all these allegations. They will have to during the next election campaign and inshallah in the assembly when we form the next government.
Well, let's hope for the best for the nation, let's just say that. Now, with elections not all that far off, do you see any undemocratic, unprecedented move being made by the ruling parties, by the opposition? Do you think anything of that nature may happen?
I don't know. I wouldn't like to conjecture on this, because I don't know what's going to happen. But we believe that Pakistan should be run according to the constitution. We're abiding by that. We want the constitutional process to continue. The new election, the new government, the new prime minister, and so on and so forth. So we hope there won't be any interference of any kind in disrupting this particular process.
How effective do you see the limbs of the party within the PTI are? Are they functioning with the same valor, with the same zest that they set out all those years ago?
The zest I have seen in people, in PTI workers in different political rallies. is incredible. I think this is that Josh and Jazba, which will see us through the next elections. It's tremendous. It's amazing. It hasn't died down at all. Imran still continues to inspire millions and millions of people all over the country. And I think that will be the main thing in our election campaign, because what we represent the will, we reflect in our statements and our policy the will of the masses, and I think that should win us the next election.
How do you see, again, there are murmurs that Mr. Khan is not in tune with the demands of his people, his followers, the ordinary non-Oxford, non-Oxbridge graduates, your locals from the Androon Lahore. He's not in tune with them. Many are dissatisfied with his non-approachable personality. How true are
I disagree with that. He meets hundreds of people every day, and many more have access to him through emails, through messages on telephone, through WhatsApp and so on, and he reads everything. You know, he is the best informed person in PTI. He knows more about PTI than anybody else.
As he should.
Yes, as he should. And so far, getting time for there's tremendous pressure on me as his chief of staff to try and accommodate people who want to meet him. It's not possible. Thousands of people want to meet him every day. So I have to be very careful and selective and make sure that only that his time is not wasted. But I disagree with the statement that he's not in tune or in touch with the people's feeling or the feeling of the party members.
There were the elections of 2013, and they're coming up now in 2018. How well prepared do you think PTI is now as compared to where it stood 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago?
Oh, we are ready. We are much better prepared now. We have understood our weaknesses of 2013, and inshallah.
Would you like to point out a few? Where you corrected yourself?
We are not fully aware of everything which needed to be, in our mind at that time, and we had time shortage. This time, we will announce our candidate pretty soon. You will have more time to go and campaign in the areas. This time, we will announce our manifesto pretty soon, also so that people can understand what we stand for, how we're going to solve their problems, and so on.
Senior members of the party are heard that they might leave because of the injustice within the party. We don't know what that injustice is. They haven't come out and said so. But have you heard anything about that?
Well, no, actually, no. I don't think any senior members are going to leave or planning to leave. I haven't heard. I'm in touch with everyone. A lot of people can have, different views, which are not in sync with the party policy. But that's part of the democratic culture we are trying to promote in PTI. People can have, different views. Disagreement is not opposition, and Imran allows a wide range of criticism of himself and his policies and so on and so forth. That's part of our culture, our PTI political culture.
So you say he's a man open to critique?
Absolutely.
Positive and negative?
Absolutely.
And as far as you're concerned, being one of the most senior members of the party, there are no senior members, or junior to you, obviously, who are planning or...
Well, not to my knowledge, no.
You've already touched upon this subject, that the mistakes or the ill-preparedness that PTI faced of 2013, in no way is that going to be encountered again in the next year's elections. You're absolutely certain of that?
Well, we'll do our best to avoid those mistakes, and perhaps, there may be still some grey area, but I think we're pretty confident we can go through.
Would you agree with me, and again, you don't have to, that PTI made a mistake, somewhat calamitous, by inviting people from other parties who were not the best candidates perhaps? That led to the downfall of the party in 2013. Would you agree with that?
Not really, no. I disagree with that assessment completely. I think we were robbed of many seats because of a massive rigging plan. Nothing to do with what you're saying. I don't think that's correct.
Nothing to do with the wrong selection of candidates.
No.